Exciting as the first was. Confirmation there of those 3 goals scored by Ancelotti after 18 minutes, Rijkaard after 24 and Gullit on 45 minutes. Well, Real Madrid have got themselves out of some very tricky situations over the years, but they really will be escapologists if they can get themselves out of this one. I think that most of the Spanish supporters here in the stadium are resigned to the fact that it's going to be 3 successive semi-final defeats in the Champions Cup. But AC Milan will surely be professional enough to know that they have still got the 45 minutes, not just to play out, but to try and build on that advantage. And they do have the first free kick of the second half awarded by referee Ponnet. It's gone against Sanchez. So it's not been a happy night by any means so far for Real Madrid, as Donadoni takes the free kick and gives it to his right. Donadoni picking it up again and will try a shot straight away at the opening of the half. It'll be certainly interesting to see whether Leo Beenhakker makes any tactical substitutions. He's somehow got to get his way back into this tie, and the only way to do that is by scoring goals. And so far, people like Butragueño and Sanchez have had no opportunities whatsoever. Van Basten, what a good game he's having, and Van Basten is going past Chendo almost as though he didn't exist. He's still here, still trying to work a position for himself. And in the end, it's cleared, but not without some anxiety. Gordillo loses out, and Rijkaard was there once more. Has to pick up the pieces. Find Colombo. Tassotti kept calm. Rijkaard wriggles away from the challenge from Paco Llorente. Here's the cross, and Donadoni was just too high for him. Real Madrid just can't get their game together as Donadoni slips it to Ancelotti. Bullier this time is alert. Well won by Paco Llorente. Martin Vasquez. Oh, that's a really poor ball from him. He looked up, thought about it, and still delivered the pass straight to the foot of Rijkaard. Donadoni so influential in the midfield. Costa Curta's ball forward. Again finds Rijkaard. And they're playing with some fluency now. Gullit inside the area. Van Basten!
Finish it off, and he did so in style. From one Dutchman, Rijkaard, to a second Gullit, to a third Van Basten. Real Madrid trailed 4-0. And surely now that date in Barcelona on May the 24th beckons AC Milan. It will be all din and bedlam now in the stadium for the remaining minutes of this game. Just over 40 minutes left, but who could have anticipated a scoreline like that? When the two sides were drawn together, everybody predicted that one goal might separate them at the end of the day, but it's looking very much as though AC Milan are going to rout the opposition. And in a way, the occasion is tinged with sadness that Real Madrid are being torn to shreds. Not very often in their illustrious history can they have taken such a hiding as they are doing at the moment. But a tribute, and a great tribute it is, to AC Milan. They've had some great players over the years. One remembers the Brazilian Jose Altafini, Gianni Rivera. But now the names of Gullit and Van Basten and Rijkaard will rank with any of them. And I don't think they came expecting an avalanche, but they've certainly been treated to a very sophisticated performance, but only by one side, and the side they wanted. 4-0 it is, 5-1 on aggregate. What a marvellous 12 months it's turning out to have been for those three Dutchmen, all goal scorers on the evening. They're looking again, Donadoni. And he's worked extremely hard. And he's just one of the players who has unhinged Real Madrid. Real Madrid just have to really compose themselves now and try and prevent a drubbing. In Spanish football is played at such a tempo that there is always the danger against the side as quick as AC Milan of being caught out in possession, and that's happened on more than one occasion tonight. And again there you see Schuster was just hustled sufficiently to put him off his stroke. When he delivered the pass, it was into no man's land. And the real hubbub now is the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium. And the talk here in Milan will be of nothing else between now and May the 24th. That is, unless Real Madrid stage the most miraculous comeback of all time. We've got a Mexican wave. I don't think Hugo Sanchez will appreciate that. But there will be certainly rapturous approval of the team's performance. They've never been in any trouble really. Only twice have Real Madrid threatened to prise open Milan's defence. On the other hand, they themselves have been caught napping. But here they do come, and Gordillo with a cross. One thing, of course, that when Real Madrid do play the ball in the air, they don't have much chance up front, because Sanchez, there he is, and Butragueño are really tiny men, neither of them more than 5'8". Good play again from Donadoni and Gullit. Chendo's in the way now. Schuster, what a disappointment for him, having left Barcelona last season for Real Madrid. As we know, Barcelona going through to a final on the same day as Real Madrid look like failing to do so. On the ball sportingly put out of play. I say sportingly, it was his own goalkeeper, of course, but Gullit is the man down, requiring the treatment. And it just occurs to me that it's so ironic that Real Madrid should go all season without a single defeat, and then they're going to suffer two within the space of 4 days. Things like that tend to happen in football. Here's Viadis, who came on as a substitute in Madrid 2 weeks ago.
And much as Hullet is always a player to be missed, it's not a bad thing to be able to bring on a player of Virdis' talent and experience. Virdis, one of the veteran campaigners in Italian football, played in so many games in Europe over the years, and I suppose with such a lead, Milan can afford to bring off Hullet and make sure that he's going to be available for the final in 2 weeks. But they do have some important league games in between. Sympathetic applause then for Ruud Hullet. And Virdis will come on to take his place. I think the stretcher is only a precautionary measure. Hullet probably fancies a lie down. He's scored a goal, and a vital one it was too, coming just on the stroke of half-time. So the ice pack administered to the knee, which is where he seems to have taken the knock. But it allows Virdis to figure in European competition again, wearing the number 16 shirt. Real Madrid, for their own respect, really want to get a goal quickly now. It's turning into a bit of a humiliation for them, and on these occasions they just want to hear the final whistle, unless, as I say, they can get a goal and just give themselves a semblance of hope. And there's the confidence mirrored in that throw by Galli. It's easy to be confident when you're 4-0 up and 5-1 on aggregate. I don't think many pundits around the world would have predicted this scoreline. They really do seem to have knocked the heart out of Real Madrid. Butragueño turning only into trouble. Well taken by Virdis. Just the curtain. So I think the crowd are wanting a bit more action now. They've got a taste for it, having seen 4 goals. Football fans the world over are impatient. If they've got 4, they want 5. If you've got 5, they want 6. And here's Van Basten. Ancelotti, he's got one. Oh, and it took a wicked deflection, and that one could have fooled Buyo. It'll be a corner. Ancelotti happy with his 3rd goal of the season. But it's been a compelling performance from AC Milan, and news of this will reverberate across Europe, particularly to Bucharest, where Stoya will know that they've got something on if they want to win the European Cup. Galatasaray will be a very different proposition, or will have been a different proposition. Beaten on his near post like that, working it onto the left foot as he did, and to score from that sort of a distance was beyond a wildest dream for Donadoni maybe, but he's got the 5th Milan goal, and now that humiliation I was talking about is very, very real. An unbelievable scoreline. AC Milan 5, Real Madrid 0, and there is still half an hour to play. And the Italian fans can scarcely believe that this is happening before their very eyes. All the talk here of the last 2 weeks has been as how close it was going to be, how Real Madrid would not just accept that one-goal scoreline from home, would be looking for a win. It's turned out to be exactly the opposite. And it's a night of torment in Milan for Madrid. Paco Llorente, not even a scrap of comfort. Is going out at the end of this season as the coach to Real Madrid. There's talk of moving him upstairs, as they say. But I'm sure he wanted to go out on a happier note than this. It's one thing to be beaten in a semi-final, it's another to be destroyed. Here is Baresi, even he can afford the luxury of coming forward now. The ball is played wide, Ancelotti disappointing him. Well, when Baresi goes as far forward as that, you know that the game is won and lost. Milan 5, Real Madrid 0. I say it again, in case you think you're not seeing right. Llorente. Now there is a bit of a battle there with Gordillo. Sanchez, oh dear, and it's very easy to say that nothing has been seen of Hugo Sanchez. I think it's only fair to say too that he's received no service whatsoever from his midfield men. Schuster has been largely anonymous. They do have this free kick though, 10 yards outside Milan's penalty area. But it would only be a crumb of comfort if they were to get a goal. Michel. He too has been disappointing on the night. Probably had the best chance for Real with that angled shot. Filippo Galli. We'll have two Gallis on the field in a moment. Goalkeeper Giovanni and number 13 Filippo Galli. It's been quite a battle for Colombo. So Angelo is off and Filippo is on. What a time to come on with your side leading 5-0. It's good to be invited to the party. Baresi again was in so sharply then. He's not given Hugo Sanchez an inch. Martin Vasquez. Oh, he's done really well, and Martin Vasquez tripped right on the edge of the penalty area. He was bursting into the gap. Now let's see where the offence took place. Martin Vasquez is there, and he stumbled at that point. A free kick given right on the edge, 2 or 3 yards outside the penalty area. Pretty long dive from there. But Referee Ponnet wants the Milan wall back another 10 yards. Sanchez smacks in his shot straight into the wall. They're all onside here, so there must be a chance of a consolation. It's nodded away though, firmly too by Maldini. Gallego. And Maldini once more. (6-1) it is on aggregate, and it's not often in Italian football that these supporters ever see more than a couple of goals in a match. I suppose the most regular scoreline in Italy is 1-0, if not 0-0 on occasions. So it's been a feast for them. Now Paco Llorente. And again he's shown some willingness to run here, and they let him go. At least they've not given up the fight. They've shown some tenacity in the last few minutes, and it must be so easy to pack it in when you're 5 down. And Virdis. So Butragueño has hardly had the ball at his feet throughout the game. He has it now. Michel with a flat cross, comfortably smothered by Gali. Who knows, like everybody else in this team, that he's on his way to a European Cup final in Barcelona. There again, another irony, Real Madrid missing the chance to parade themselves in the stadium of their greatest rivals. But it's certainly looking like an Italian-Romanian final now. It's Donadoni, who's just got 1 goal, gives a lovely ball to Ancelotti. Can they get 6? Oh, it's just flicked over the top of Virdis. Gallego, Schuster. That pass is really typical of the Real Madrid approach tonight. They've just never strung anything together at all. Their performance has been way below par after such a successful domestic season, and they've been the outstanding team by far. It must be a vast disappointment to come here and play like this. So much always expected of a team with the greatest name in club football, of course. And Real Madrid, having won this competition in the first 5 years of its inception, were hoping to make a 7th victory. It's not going to be. Dio loses out once more, but this time the referee says that that is worth a free kick. Right on the halfway line. The tackle was by Costa Curta. Chendo and Michel, but again the build-up snuffed out by Baresi, who has been as impeccable as always. And here he is now. He certainly sets a stirring example in defence, and it must be very comforting for those in front of him to know that Baresi is there. We've just gone past the midpoint of the second half. AC Milan have scored 5 goals without reply. And they've played it so well, they've denied Real Madrid any space at all in midfield. as a result of which the service to the front man, Sanchez of Butragueño, has been minimal. Donadoni. Lovely weighted pass again. The tendency, I suppose, now will be for them just to ease off the accelerator. The Italians so love their football and are so passionate about it that there will be great thrill for the nation in getting to another European Cup final. That was just a little bit too lax. Butragueño not been able to enhance his reputation at all as a goal poacher extraordinaire. Gordillo, he's got a man wide on his left, that is Paco Llorente, who now has the ball. Tries to come inside, and the temptation has been to run at people and try and run through them for Real Madrid. It's been their only way. Easily cut out once more by Maldini, who's had a splendid match, the youngster, and made his international debut when he was just 19 years of age. Rijkaard. And they're content now just to stroke the ball around. The sting has been taken out of the game by those two second-half goals. It was bad enough for Real Madrid going in 3 down, but to find themselves 5 down in an hour was unthinkable. And a night of despair for their coach. Paco Llorente gets it back from Butragueño. Now he's shown a willingness to run at defences all night, and Paco Llorente, well, it was a good effort really. He took his shot on the run, snapshot, got the merest of deflections, otherwise I think it certainly would have been on the target. And he's one of the very few Madrid players to come out of the game with any credit. Easily away. Chendo sweeps the ball across for Gallego. Once more the momentum has been lost and the ball has been lost as well. But Van Basten was just inside the Madrid half, so he was offside. But again, it was a question of Real Madrid really shooting themselves in the foot, giving the ball away, and lucky to get away with it. Paco Llorente once more, and he's inside the penalty area, and a little nudge. He felt he might have had something there. The referee didn't concur. Maldini, intelligent ball forward for Ancelotti. They're making sure they're not offside. Rijkaard takes it. Now Donadoni. Well, not one of the better moments. It's amazing, isn't it, how fans will applaud almost anything when your team's leading 5-0. 6-1 in the overall situation. And that really is academic. 5-0 with just over a quarter of an hour to go. Well, I suppose the main question really to be asked now is whether Milan can add to this 5. Make it around half dozen maybe. Verdes, oh, good pass through. Gallego had just seen it in time. Two players perhaps just going through the motions a little now. Sanchez. phrase that's so often used in football. Real Madrid, we'll just watch here as Butragueño gets past his marker. I was going to say we'll be left to concentrate on the league for the rest of the season. There's no doubt their aspirations in the Champions Cup are dying here, but they now will go back and try and clinch their third successive Spanish league title. They're well clear of Barcelona at the moment. That takes on even more importance in the light of tonight's result. Van Basten has shown us his full repertoire. What about that for a pass to Beardis? Gallego is there just to get in ahead of Ancelotti, but they're not out of the wood yet. And strikes it way over the top of the crossbar. Rijkaard unable to just keep that ball down. He it was who got the second of the goals this evening. A crucial one it was too in the final analysis. It was the one that really knocked the stuffing out of Madrid in the first half, and then that third one by Hullet on half-time finished them off. Here's Butragueño once more carrying the fight to Milan. Too many men around him. The blanket defence paid off. And now Ancelotti has got Donadoni on his outside. Still has the ball. Baresi. Oh, a lovely ball. Just to give us by surprise. They're almost playing chess now. They're just sizing up the moves and delivering them at their own pace. And once more, a disappointing finish for Real. Michel strolls back, almost agonised, to his right flank position. And this will be seen as a night of disaster for Spanish football. So much always expected of Real Madrid. Van Basten quite happy to concede that pass to Gallego. In front of him, another of the players who a lot of more was expected of him, has not been able to deliver the goods, nor is Hugo Sanchez, but Schuster gets in a fine effort. That's one of the better efforts on the night, certainly from the West German. Hugo Sanchez laying it invitingly back into his path. The strike was good, just off the target. Schuster. They really are ambling at the moment, one or two of these players. Michel will try and introduce a bit of urgency. Tassotti able to keep it in play from the dead ball line, but then running it out. That's a good ball from Schuster to Butragueño. The little back flick was intended for Gordillo. I think he's run it out of play. And again, that sums up Real Madrid's night. Just nothing has gone right for them. The Spanish champions are going out here with their heads bowed.
But it's a night of total ecstasy for AC Milan, the club that was founded by a group of English and Italian businessmen back in 1899, and they're 10 minutes away from a European Cup final appearance against Steaua Bucharest of Romania, victors, as we saw during the interval, over Galatasaray. And there is little left for Leo Beenhakker there to contemplate. So Rijkaard for AC Milan, bringing play inside the Spanish half. And again, Baresi lopes forward. Lovely ball as well, and Van Basten, I think he might have had a crack himself then, having worked his way into a shooting position. I suppose the Italian champions will think there's not much point in expending any more energy than is necessary now in these few remaining minutes of the game. They'll be hailed as national heroes in the morning for a performance of this quality, and some stunning finishing from Ancelotti in 18, Rijkaard 24, Gullit in 45, Van Basten 3rd minute of the second half, and then Donadoni, the last of those 5 goals. Donadoni again. Hugo Sanchez, so much wanted to be a part of a European Cup final. The man who's been 4 times the leading goal scorer in Spanish domestic football. He's never had a sniff of a goal tonight. So the closing minutes of the game, none of the Milan supporters want to go home because they want to be there at the final whistle to cheer and show the appreciation to their side. Every one of them heroes for them. And from the moment really that Ancelotti beats Buyo with that spectacular and speculative shot after 18 minutes, it's been one-way traffic. I suppose everybody wants to get on the score sheet now, which is why Maldini was so far forward. Real Madrid have just recovered maybe a little bit of self-esteem by not conceding anything in the latter stages of the game, and here they're trying to contrive a goal for themselves. Certainly Paco Llorente has tried as hard as anyone. Corner now for Real Madrid then. So little time for them which to do anything in this match. Vidic it is, who just loops the ball over the top with delightful ease. Rijkaard leaving it for Donadoni. Now Costa Curta. He's been playing instead of Ivani in this game. What a match to come in for. Just a little feeling of anticlimax perhaps in the last few minutes, with the pace having slackened. But such was the quality of that first hour's play by AC Milan that nobody could have failed to have enjoyed this masterful performance, and they are still looking for another goal as Van Basten is denied by Gallego.
but he didn't get the free kick he asked for. But Marco van Basten can look forward now to another final. Featured so heavily, of course, in Holland's European Championship triumph, scoring that truly spectacular goal in the final against the Soviet Union. And they only have 5 minutes left to wait to salute their team. It's been a marvellous and memorable night in Milan for all these players in the famous old red and black stripes. And I'm sure that Real Madrid's players can hardly wait to get back into the sanctuary of their dressing room. There will be no heroes welcome for them in Madrid in the morning. Michel will try a shot, and that didn't succeed either. So Van Basten brings Milan clear. Has support on his right too. The ball played wide here is for Ancelotti. And Virdis trying to tee it up for Donadoni. Back for Virdis. Gordillo was the man who got across there to take the ball literally off Virdis' toe end. So perhaps a 20-year wait is going to be ended for the Italians. It was back in 1969 that they last took the European Cup, but for Leo Beenhakker there is to be no such appearance this season. And he must feel quite dejected by the events of the evening. This has just not been a performance of any character at all by Real Madrid. They succumbed very early in the match, and one would suggest that they haven't really ever had the stomach for the fight, having been held in their own stadium 2 weeks ago. Now the quick break is on for Ancelotti. Nice ball as well, played out wide for Donadoni. Free kick, but on the other hand they give it away, and once more desperate defending. We do apologise for the occasional breakup of your picture and sound. I hope the interference hasn't affected your enjoyment of the evening. And that ball running through for Michel, who's got Sanchez running ahead of him now. Has to keep coming left. He's got Paco Llorente outside him, and Francisco Paco Llorente is caught offside. And so it looks as though there's going to be nothing on this night for Real. Coming up shortly, of course, a roundup of all the European action this evening, plus the highlights for you from the game in Italy between Sampdoria and Mechelen of Belgium. So don't you think of going to bed just yet. There's a lot of excellent football to come. As the ball is turned here for Virdis. He's got Gallego in front of him. But Virdis has been afforded a square pass. I think Rijkaard might have been a scorer. And just look at that record of Virdis. 17 goals in 25 appearances in European competition. Corner it is. Donadoni takes yet another one. Baresi. And Tassotti Just had a little bit of keep ball with Costa Curta. And we're now into time added on, and surely referee Ponnet will put Real Madrid out of their misery before long. And it certainly has been a night of misery for the men from Madrid. But what a roar will go up on the final whistle for the Milanese players. It's been a marvellous performance from them. They really took a stranglehold on the game as early as the 24th minute, when they were 2-0 up and 3-1 on aggregate. They've since increased it to 6-1 on aggregate, and there indeed is the final whistle here in the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium. A truly magnificent performance by the home side. They've utterly destroyed Real Madrid. 5 goals on the night from Ancelotti, Rijkaard, from Gullit, Van Basten and Donadoni. 5